I've recently come back from a project in HBD Principe. I was doing a photo shoot. It's in Sao Tome and it's in Principe Island, Sao Tome Principe. And I think I wanted to share something that I experienced while I was there, which I'm starting to experience now, that I'm back in the studio. And what I basically experienced was that, when I was, and I think it's happened to many of us, is that when you're out there, shooting, creating, you're able to acquire this flow state and you're able to just get in the vibe and not really think too much about how you're creating, whether you're creating good images or not. You're documenting basically the story and you're building these sets of images that eventually when you come and cull them, create this montage of all these moments that you're able to document. And when you're in that period or when you're in that state of mind, there isn't that self-doubt. There isn't that thought on really thinking too much about yourself and whether you're good enough. And this is me speaking from somebody who's been shooting for 13 years. And even when I go to projects, I sometimes have that feeling, or especially when I'm in the office. And this appears a lot of times when I'm trying to create content for social media. I do social media marketing for brands, and I find that whenever I'm in a space like my office here, like I find like I'm really critical of how I'm going to create a piece of content. And what I realized after going out into the jungle for like an entire week and shooting, where I didn't experience any of that, is that when I'm back here, I get the opportunity to, look at other creatives. I get opportunity to have time to think. And whenever that happens, I'm not in flow state, and that doesn't allow me to stop being very critical of my work. So, obviously I know that I'm able to create videos, I'm able to create these images, but because of allowing myself the space of time, I become a bit too critical on how I would shoot something or whether if I shot it in a specific way, would it come out great. Uh, why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because that has been one of my issues with, creating YouTube content is me being too critical of how I want to express and how I want to share my thoughts on the platform. And the only way you can beat that is by creating. I've done a similar video before like this, but you end up getting caught into that cycle again of self-doubt and thinking too much. The only way you can beat it is by creating. So you put on the camera and you start shooting. And as you do that, you acquire some semblance of flow state. And that's what I'm basically doing right now. I've realized that if I do want to make certain dreams come true when it comes to the education side of, what I share, my content, I have to push through. Because I was sitting today morning and I was looking at most of the videos that I was learning from, and a lot of the creators that I'm learning from are from the States, are from Europe, and I don't see anybody from, Tanzania. I don't see many people from East Africa or Africa that are creating tutorial videos and sharing the challenges or the tips and tricks of how to overcome certain things being from Tanzania or Africa. And our problems are sometimes unique to our experiences. A great example is when I was in Ghana and I was talking to another creative there. We spoke about the fact that sometimes the colors that we see here, because of how the lighting conditions are, is very different from the lighting conditions, let's say, if you're in Europe. So if you're looking at grading your footage and you want it to look a specific way, a lot of times you find that there's a little bit of difficulties, even when it comes to editing images shot with different skin tones in Lightroom. So I would love to see more people creating such content on this platform, sharing their knowledge, and I would like to be part of that community. So if it means me just putting on the camera and sharing my thoughts, sharing with you my process and how I get things done, then that's what I plan to do moving forward. Taking away the friction of thinking and just going forward and working towards sharing what I know. And hopefully that will help somebody out there. And yeah, that is my plan. Let's see how it goes. So, what am I going to be doing? I just came from shooting this project for 7 days. I want to share my thoughts on this, so I'll share a video on that. I also will share a walkthrough of how I went about culling the images and also a process of how I edited the images for this project. I'm leaning a bit more towards the film side of things, so that's what I'm going to be sharing for these coming sets of videos. Then from then on, I'll share more and more. I know some of you have asked me about my color grading for my recent videos on Instagram, so I will be sharing about what I've learned recently on DaVinci. It's taken me some time, but I'm excited that I'm finally starting to figure it out. So let's get just fucking going. Let's just do it. And yeah, that's it. I thought I'd share my thoughts on my experience with self-doubt and when I am experiencing it, when I'm not experiencing it. And the solution for not experiencing it is just do it. Switch on the camera, record, switch on the camera, shoot. As always, stay creative, and I'll catch you guys on another one. Peace out.